Hey guys, so welcome to episode 42 of Suitcase Divas podcast. My name is Denise Diabaldi with Redbirds Travel.
And I'm Cheryl Garcia with ABCD Adventures.
Yeah, so guys, this one is called Beachbound, exploring US beaches with the divas. So we're going to talk about it's summertime. Summertime means going to the beach, right? Everybody likes
Absolutely.
to go to the beach. I don't know anybody that really doesn't like the beach. I've heard of people that are like, I don't
My
like the beach.
family, my husband does not like the beach.
Yeah, he's
We
not a
go
beach
to the
guy.
beach, but he does not. He
He
probably
doesn't
on
enjoy it.
our,
You
I'd
drag
say,
him there.
no, he scheduled it, but it was a 10-day trip. We were there, we were at the beach for 7 days. He went one time for about 20 minutes, maybe an hour,
Yeah, well, I'll say,
maybe an hour.
I don't love the sand and it can be messy, but obviously it comes with the territory. So I
Yeah.
will get a little sandy in order to go watch the waves. My goal is always to see dolphins. That like brings me such joy. And sunrises. Sunrises are my jam. It's just so peaceful
Yes.
and it's ambient. It's before the world's awake, you know? It's almost
Yeah.
like you've got a free ticket to something magical, you know?
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the top beaches in the United States. I know people travel abroad, but just we're thinking about places here in the US. So I'm gonna start with number one and count down to the five, but I've never been here. It's on my bucket list, as are actually most of these. I have been to some.
Right.
Siesta Key in Florida is actually the number one beach in the US for 2024. It says it has 8 miles of white sand, and it's on a Florida barrier island off the coast of Sarasota. So they have a laid back atmosphere and they've got a little crescent beach, 8 mile stretch.
Nice.
And it says that it's secluded stretch of sand and it's good for snorkeling. So I like snorkeling. You like snorkeling?
I do like snorkeling. I've only been officially snorkeling like at a reef once, but it was so much fun.
It was, yeah. I went in Cozumel and it was amazing. I haven't been snorkeling in the US, but
Me
I'll
either, actually. I went in Jamaica.
maybe we can go to Siesta Key. Maybe that's where
Yeah.
we're going. Um, so and then of course we've got multiple beaches on in Hawaii. So I'm gonna kind of just
Put them all
sandwich them
together.
all together. Yeah. So like Maui, Honolulu,
Waikiki Beach, which is where
Oahu.
I've been. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about Waikiki because I have that's on my bucket list too. Hawaii, I still have not made it over to Hawaii. Um,
Well, the beach
one
is gorgeous. One of the things I learned, like it's very rocky.
of them, black lava and stone and stuff.
Yeah, it is. I don't remember exactly. We had an amazing tour person for that week, and they told us like just the history and culture of Hawaii is absolutely amazing. If you ever get the
Amazing.
chance
Yeah.
to dive deep into it, I highly recommend it. Because it's one of those things where you're like, oh, it's a state, but it's got such a much richer history. I don't want to
Sure.
say much more, but it is just it's amazing. So when they were talking about the beaches and how it was so clean, so welcoming.
They take care of their beaches there because it means
Yes.
something to them.
Hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely. They're also notorious for amazing surf waves. A lot of surfers go there to surf the big waves. So
Mhm.
that's what they're known for as well. Um, moving on to number three, we have Gulf Shores. I've never even heard of this beach. It says Alabama may not be known for its beaches, but apparently this is it's the Gulf Shore and in the Gulf of Mexico, warm waters. It says it's a known for its 50 miles southeast of Mobile, Alabama. Um, it says white quartz sand. I've never seen this.
I have
I'm not
not either. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a public beach. It's got showers, volleyball courts, picnic pavilions. So it seems pretty nice. I've never heard of it, but I will say I like the Gulf side of Florida a lot, and I've spent some time there. That brings us to number 4, which is Clearwater. Have you ever been to Clearwater?
I have not, but I hear so much about it.
Yeah, it is beautiful. And the water obviously is crystal clear. So they're saying essentially they do paddle boarding, parasailing, sunset cruises, kayaking, and the water is shallow. Like it's same with Anna Maria Island, which isn't on the list, but I can't imagine why it wouldn't be because it is gorgeous. But I love how you can walk out for a good bit and it's not dropping off. It's pretty shallow. It's shallow for a good bit of time before it gets deep, like swimming.
Mm-hmm.
So you can kind of just float in the waves and relax, and it's clear water. So definitely. And they say that Clearwater is also really good. They've got a playground and a splash pad. And so it's good for families with
Yeah.
small kids. So if you have small kids, definitely consider going to Clearwater. Another thing I would add on to that is definitely go over to the Clearwater Aquarium where Winter used to be. Unfortunately, she's passed, the dolphin, but it is an amazing aquarium as well.
Hmm.
So then the last one is also on the Gulf Coast, and that is Destin, Florida. So they put a couple in the Florida Panhandle, and they say it has a thriving underwater population of fish like grouper and red snapper. And
Oh.
it's really well known for fishing. If you want to charter a fishing boat and go out there, it's a really good place to do that. So
That's good to know.
yeah, so if you are looking to go to any of those, and let us know what you think if it added up to the hype.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did your beach that you love not make the list? Let us know what your beach is, what your favorite place to
yeah,
go.
like I did see on that list. I can't believe I will say Outer Banks was in the top 10, but Cape May didn't. Cape May came in at like 22, and I disagree with that. I think it should be way higher because they have several beaches. Not only do they have Cape May, just the one on the boardwalk, they've also got Sunset Beach there. They've
I
got
wonder if it's because it's colder. Like you'd have to go like really late August to get the same type of.
probably the
So,
ocean water probably may take
mhm.
that down a bit. But I will say they're accessible. They've got that boardwalk, which is for
Yeah,
handy.
which we're getting ready to talk about accessible beaches.
Yeah, and they do have at Sunset Beach. It's pet friendly. So really, what could you want? I mean, come on. I think Cape May should have got a bigger shout out, but um,
Well, maybe us talking about it and putting it out there, it'll get it bumped
yes,
up
go
because
see
that
Cape May
did.
beaches in New
Cape
Jersey.
May Beach did make my list for the next one. Talking about accessible beaches. When we talk about accessible beaches, I don't just mean ones that have, accessible bathrooms nearby, or
Right,
even if they just rent the beach chairs, which we'll talk about that in a second. But a real true accessible beach are the ones that have a way for someone in a mobility who uses a mobility device to get
right,
from the parking lot or the sand all the way to the water. And
sure.
we don't have a ton of those here in the US. So what was funny or interesting, I should say, is Siesta Beach came as the first one when I was doing my
That
research.
was number one. Yep.
Yeah, it has a
So they must have
400,
their shit together between being
right?
accessible and having. They said that things that factor into it is like how clear the water is, how like clean the beach is kept clean, no trash, stuff like that. So all of those factor into that.
So Siesta Beach has a 400 plus foot walkway to the water. That is so important because if you have accessible parking and then all you have is sand, that's not an accessible beach. That it's really not accessible for all. So
Right.
when people are when I'm looking for people for accessible places for people to go, I have to dig deeper than just the accessible parking because it can't meet all the needs. That's not enough. So
Right.
Siesta Beach has that 400 plus foot walkway that gets you straight to the water. They also do have the free beach chairs to borrow. Now the beach chairs are beach wheelchairs. They're accessible for the sand. They have the big inflatable tires. They're
The
made
wheels.
to be
Yep.
easy to push along on the sand.
Yeah.
Um, Another accessible beach is South Cape Beach State Park in Massachusetts.
Oh.
They actually in that area had some really amazing. This is not the only one. If you look at the beaches in the Boston area, you'd be surprised. I was very impressed by
Huh,
how many accessible beaches they had. So this particular one is wheelchair accessible with a beach mat from that goes all the way out to the water. The
nice.
beach mat is something that most beaches will put down at the beginning of the season. And so it's usually, I think they start like mid-May to like mid-October is they'll have it. And it's basically a a rollout thing that stays there for that season that makes it accessible for wheels to roll through. So
Hmm.
it's not
Just like
permanent.
plastic, it's like foam.
It's I get I don't I'm horrible with like the material, but it's like a thick, almost like a yoga mat, but really, really firm.
Okay.
But it's going to go all the way out and it's pretty wide so that more than one chair can be accessible on there. The other
Okay.
thing the South Cape Beach State Park had was they had floating beach chairs. I can't
Nice.
find these at even the ones that have accessible beach access, water access, they don't all offer this, but this
Mm-hmm.
one did. The floating beach chairs are mobility chairs that can go into the water. So if you have someone who uses a mobility device and
Cool.
once they get out there, sometimes like my stepdad's is in a motorized wheelchair, so he has to get out there and either crawl from the sand to the water or get his chair as close as he can because it's an electric one, so he can't get it but so close.
Sure, that makes
Um,
sense.
and then he has to drop down and then kind of scoot out there. So this floating beach chair, it's kind of like a three wheel, big wheel in the front, two wheels in the back, and they kind of sit with their bodies slightly reclined. You roll it out in the chair, they can stay in the chair while it's in the water.
That
Or
is
they can get
cool.
them to the water and
Yeah.
transfer them from the chair to the water, and then you can transfer them back in. So I was so impressed that they had this. They had it at a couple locations, but if you check their site, it'll tell you which one of their beaches has it and then how many they have. Um,
Wow.
Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina
Woo,
was,
give a little
yep,
love to North Carolina.
got really good reviews on their accessibility. They also have beach chairs to borrow. And then, as Denise already mentioned, Cape May Beach has the beach mat that lets you get out to the water. So,
And I will say I have not seen that. This is the first year I've seen that beach mat. So and I was there last year. So this is fairly new in Cape May, that big white walkway.
I love that they're doing that. I think, and even the places that don't necessarily have the beach mats or the boardwalks going straight out to the water, a lot of them will offer the beach chairs, not necessarily the beach floating chairs, but they have the beach chairs. If you check at your the first tourist place or the it depends on what they have because like in the Outer Banks they have a tourist center where you can go and you can get that's where you get your permits for your fire and all that and you can get the chairs there. They also have a pier that has that. So you just have to kind of do some digging on where that is located at the beach you're looking at. But a lot of them, even if they don't have access straight to the water, they do have, but it's first come, first serve with those beach chairs.
Right. Gotcha.
But
Gotta early bird gets the worm.
and you had mentioned beaches for pets. So tell us a little bit about beaches
Yeah,
for
you know,
pets.
I'm all about pet friendly anything. Because Riley goes with us many places. Like we actually did not go to Sunset Beach up in Cape May. He didn't go to the beach that week, but I do like an accessible beach. So here are I'll give you like the top five. And again, some of these I've not even heard of. Cannon Beach in Oregon. So located on Oregon's coast, Cannon Beach is a charming seaside town that welcomes dogs on the beach. They must be on their leash. So some of them are on leash or off leash. I've always only ever really kept Riley on a leash because he's kind of spaz. Um, and I do have one of those, and you might think it's hokey, but he's got a little shark beach snuggle thing, like life
Oh,
jacket. So when he's
yes.
out swimming in the ocean, it's like a little shark fin. It's the cutest
Oh,
friggin' thing.
I highly support life jackets for dogs. We have life jackets at my house for dogs.
Yeah, yeah. You want to if because you never know what you're gonna get Um, okay, so yeah, that one was located in Oregon, and then we have Cape San Blas in Florida. It says it's a hidden gem on the Gulf Coast. Sorry, I can't even speak of Florida. So they welcome dogs. It's also you have to keep your dog on a leash. Um, they also are not allowed to dig near turtle nests, which just makes good sense because,
Right.
you know, Huntington Dog Beach in California. It is 1.5 miles, and that one is off leash, and it's specifically for so it says Huntington Dog Beach, and the dogs are allowed to run free and play in the waves. So that one's off leash, one of the few. Jekyll Island Beach in Georgia. I have been there. Jekyll Island is really cool. If you've never been there, it's the one that has all like the trees that look like driftwood and stuff. It's
Okay.
almost like an art form. They're beautiful. But yeah, we took Riley there, and they're allowed on the beach all year round. Because I will say in Cape May, they're only allowed in peak summer months. I want to say maybe Memorial Day to Labor Day or something like that.
And now that you mentioned that, I do know some beaches don't let dogs during peak season. It's off season. I believe there's some spots in the Outer Banks and like the Virginia Beach area where the
Hmm.
dogs are only allowed when it's off season.
Yeah. And in this particular one, they have a rule that your dog has to be on the leash, but the leash can be no longer than 16 feet in length, which
That's still long.
that's
Yeah.
very long. Like I feel like a lot could go wrong between 16
Right.
feet. Um, okay, so Montrose Dog Beach in Illinois. I guess Illinois is
Oh.
representing here. It says it's off Lake Michigan in Chicago. Is located near there. It's the city's off leash. See, this is another off leash one. And it also provides a fenced in area for dogs to play, socialize, and it has free doggy waste bags. And it's got a little section where you can actually give your pup a bath, a bathing section.
That's
So
awesome.
that's pretty amazing because I will say dogs love to dig in the sand and they get all kinds of sandy and gross. So
Yeah.
having a bath there to before you put them back in your car is probably amazing. More places should do that. Um, then we have Padre Island National Seashore, and that is in Texas, Padre Island. It's a 70-mile stretch of beach. So that's long. That's a long
Hmm.
beach off the Gulf along Gulf of Mexico. Again, this one, your dog has to be on its leash and you have to pick up after your pets, which you should always do anywhere you go. That's just like
Right.
having a pet 101. Um, they also have a really big camping area of over 60 miles. So it sounds like that's a really good location if you like to go camping and be at the beach
Hmm.
and have your dog. That's a perfect solution. So that's Padre Island in Texas. So those are the ones that I have. I do know there's a place here in Charlotte that they just opened up that actually is it's the beach and you do pay to go there, but it's pet friendly and they
That
also have
man-made beach they created. Yeah.
yeah, up in Lake Norman. So that recently opened up this year. So maybe I'll check that out with Riley. Although he doesn't do well with other dogs.
But since you
So
mentioned camping, let's talk about beaches that you can camp on, which
yeah,
I've
you're
never
all
done.
about you. This is your bag
I
because I'm
know
a little
I've not
uncomfortable.
camped on a beach. I've camped all kind.
No?
I do love camping, but I've not camped on a beach. So I was
Wow.
really interested, and when I say camping, I mean like tent camping is what I'm thinking of. Because if you're going to a cabin, I do count that as camping, but that's glamping. When we say an RV or a cabin, it's glamping.
Okay.
When I say
What about
camping,
is a pop-up camper that's glamping too?
yeah,
If
it's
you're not in
glamping.
a tent, if you're on the ground, you're
Yeah,
camping.
if you're not having to pitch that tent, although a pop-up camper is a little closer to what I would, because it's a lot more
It's a little
work.
rustic, but you're not
Yeah,
on the ground, but it's definitely not a cabin with like water and toilets and all that stuff. We're
right.
getting into
No, I
different
don't
categories.
primitive camp. I have to have a bathroom. But let's talk about what they have. Because I know for a fact one of the beaches you mentioned, I have also listed in my camping one. So kick us off is Grand Isle State Park in Louisiana. I really liked what they had because they specifically listed an ADA compliant premium site, which is where you can pull up with your RV, and it has electric and water. And the fact that they listed is the only one I saw that specifically said ADA compliant site, which I thought was awesome. And then they
Mhm.
have beach tent sites, but it was up there on the list when I was doing some research.
Cool.
The Another one, which you've already mentioned, is Padre Island in Corpus Christi, Texas. I didn't know this, but it is the world's longest barrier island.
It does. I think they said 70 miles. That's a
Yeah, I
long,
think that was
that's
the
a long
camping
beach.
section you mentioned. I think it's actually might be I should have wrote down how long, but they have primitive camping, RV camping, and tent camping. It's made up of obviously different beaches. They have like let's see, it's Padre Island is that whole area, and then they have sections of beaches. Because they also do have beach wheelchairs and walkers to borrow for free at the at one specific beach, so you just have to double check what areas they have. I did not find, I tried to dig to see if they had any beach mats or any access from the street to the water. I couldn't find
Hmm.
any specifics on it, but it did
Right.
sound like they are working towards being very accessible. So I was really, when I was doing research on Padre Island, I was very impressed of all that they had to offer in that area. So definitely
Yeah,
check
I've
that
never
out.
been to that area, but that does sound pretty amazing. And it did say over 60 miles of camping beach area.
Right, yeah.
So that's a lot. That's a good bit.
And then one more I'll throw out here before that I did a little research. Tybee Island, Georgia, which we've both been to
We've
Tybee
been there.
Island.
It's
It's about
beautiful.
30
Love it.
mile or 30 minutes from Savannah. And
Hmm.
the specific campground that I looked into was called Rivers End Campground and RV Park. They do tents, RVs, cabins. So it kind of gets, I liked that one because it's a whole level. If you want to, what I call camping and do your tent camping, or you want to glamp and be in a cabin or an RV, you have
Yeah.
those options. It's just, I think it was a mile from the beach. So that particular one, you're not right on the beach. The other ones, you could be right on the beach. There are also a few beaches in the Outer Banks that you can camp on. It's south. The further south you go, the more options you have for camping. One of the things I found interesting when I was researching this is they were talking about driving on the beach. Have you ever driven on the beach?
I
Like on the
I
sand near the water type
I
driving?
don't know. No, I haven't. I've seen a lot of cars get
I watched the videos,
in
yeah.
the ocean. I'm too afraid. Listen, my anxiety level,
Well, I didn't know this.
too
So
crazy big.
my parents and my brothers do this. And the first time I drove on the beach was with my brothers. And there's a parking, like I parked my car and they came and picked me up at the sand. And my brother, who drives a big old truck, um, you have to let the air out of your tires before you
Yeah,
can
there's
like
all kinds of compliance you have to
right.
meet to
And
safely go, and it seems quite dangerous.
when I was researching this, there were parts where it would say, okay, you have to take, it has to be a four-wheel drive. It can be, this beach is four-wheel drive only. This beach is all-wheel drive, but they always put a little disclaimer. And then there was one place, oh, I should have written it down because it was where you had to have a special type of vehicle to go on it.
Right.
And I was like, man, because I remember when we just went to the Outer Banks this past or
That's
the
one of
beginning
the
of
places
June.
that people do it a lot is Outer Banks.
Yes, they do. And we were considering like going out and parking on there because we have all-wheel drive, but we're like, yeah, our little SUV cannot truck it. I do not want to be that person on TikTok with
No.
my car floating out into the ocean because I didn't do
The
my due
swivel shape.
diligence and do the research. Yeah.
Right.
So what's awesome is you get to there you can camp. That's the great thing I think about the beach is there are like great beaches with accessibility. You can take your pets, you can camp. Some Denise has listed some beautiful beaches. So now that you've kind of got an idea of where you're going to go, we got to talk about what you're going to take. We love accessories. So let's talk
Well,
about
and
some of
we
our
want to
favorite
have
gear.
everything. We want to have, maybe people say Cheryl and I, we don't even claim to pack light.
No, we
We don't.
don't.
We don't. And but the reason is we want to make sure that we have everything you could possibly want to make your trip the most enjoyable. So
Right.
thinking about that, think about like the basics of what we're bringing to the beach. You got to have a beach chair. Like, there's no way I'm going to be one of those people just roughing it, setting my towel on the sand. That's just not my bag.
So that's how until this beach trip, that's what we did. Well,
I'm
we
not
always
doing that,
stayed.
Cheryl.
I will say some places we stayed at, with they already had the chairs set up. But when we would travel with the kids, you want to know what I did? I would take the extra sheets from like the sofa bed or whatever they had that they keep in your room, and that's what I would take and lay out on the beach was the sheets from the
So
hotel.
that they have some room to crawl around and whatnot.
Yeah, or just lay around. We didn't want to haul when you're traveling with kids. I didn't have the room to. I did pack lighter or not lighter. I packed
I did
more
not.
conservative when the kids because it was all the kids stuff.
It
So
was all the kids stuff, and we even had like the half a tent that you would set up that had it had
oh,
the whole camping tent thing where it's like a half shell and they can be in there out of the sun. And
so I just
we
realized as I'm looking at our list because Denise and I both put our list together. We both add things. We are totally planning this beach trip. Like this, our beach gear is without kids. We didn't talk about anything to do
now it is
with
without
kids.
kids.
Yeah,
It
so
pretty much
keep that
is
in
without.
mind when we're talking about our items that we take. It's because we're usually going without small kids. So,
Right,
but our
exactly.
beach chairs, I did get a beach chair for this trip and I love it. But what's your style of chair that you like for the
Well,
beach?
so I have the one like you have that's like a backpack and stuff, and I'll let you go into detail about that. But what I really want, because I love to read a book, I love a good book. That's on our list. And right now we are reading
The
The
road
Self-Care.
unpaved. Yeah.
Yes. So that is our good book that we're reading. But you know the ones where it has the face hole and you can lay on your stomach and you can read your book. I totally want one of those. That's like my bucket list of the next chair I want. And it's hard to rationalize getting it because my other one's not old at all. It's in really
Right.
good shape and it's got the cooler and all that. But I just really want the one that has the hole in it. And let
No,
us
I
know if
agree.
you guys have those. Like, tell me, Denise, you need to get it. Step up your game. Step
Right.
up your game. um,
Um,
bless
I
you.
do
So,
have, thank you. I do have the book or the chair. That's the one we got for this trip where it has the straps on it so you carry it on your back. It also
yes.
came with a cooler. So I was able to just tie, and the cooler hooks to the chair and then it had the handles. I felt
Mm-hmm.
like I was like just sitting out there royalty with my amazing chair. It laid back, it laid flat so I could lay down. And
Yep.
with my short limbs, I have tiny T-Rex arms.
Little T-Rex arms.
I can lay on my stomach and the book be underneath, like at the edge of the chair, and my arms aren't dangling. Whereas like a regular poolside beat or poolside lounge chair, they're a little higher and my arms dangle. But I really like this chair. I'll make sure to drop the links on our socials because it was an awesome chair. Held up great.
I got I got my beach chair. You'll never guess.
Amazon.
No,
Oh,
that's my second.
Aldi. You got
Aldi
yours at
Isle of
Aldi?
Shame.
Yeah,
The
I got mine at
Aldi
Amazon.
Isle of Shame. And it's a great chair. It really is. It has everything you said, the cup holders, it's got the little cooler on the side with the zipper. I always put my cell phone in there so that I'm not so it doesn't get as hot because in the sun
Right.
your cell phone gets so I always try to put like a cool pack in there and then that's where I kind of keep my
That's
phone.
smart. Yeah.
Yeah. So I you know how I am about sunscreen. That is
Yes.
definitely going to be next on my list. I'm a huge advocate for sunscreen. Um reapply it if you're depending on where you're going, like when we were down in Cozumel, you definitely want to make sure that you have the reef safe sunblock so
Yes.
that you're not affecting the reefs negatively at all. I will say chapstick is something that people don't think about. Your
Yes.
lips get really burnt and chapped
And
if you
be
don't have
careful that it has SPF on it
SPF.
because
You want to make
I've
sure.
actually gotten like homemade where you can buy it from the little markets that people do and they make because I actually love
Like
homemade
the bees
chapstick.
balm or whatever.
Yeah, but they don't have SPF in them and I have had my lips sunburned. I didn't even know that was a thing until
And it's
it
painful.
happened. Yes.
Right. It absolutely is painful. So always, always, always use sunblock. Reapply sunblock. A huge advocate for
Yes.
it. Um, and then
Obviously,
sunglasses.
yeah, you gotta have some
Shades. You gotta have
sunglasses.
the shades. And people don't think about this, but you can damage your eyes if especially you don't want to be looking at the sun. But if you're out on the beach and the way it reflects up off the water, the sun and
Mhm.
stuff, you really should have shades protecting your eyes so that
Even
so
if you're laying, if you have your eyes closed and you're just laying, taking a nap, your lids aren't enough to do 100% protection. So you still
correct.
need to be wearing them, some type of coverage, even when you're sleeping on the
Right.
beach, taking a nap, because that's what I like to do on the beach.
Yes, you do like to nap. You do like to nap. And what do I like to do? I like to drink wine.
Yes.
So a wine purse. We've been given this a shout out, and we can put the Amazon links in there too. But I'm a huge fan of the wine purse, and you can put margarita mix, or you can put wine, or you can put mimosas, whatever, and it
Or
has
water. You could put water
you
or
can put
tea,
water in
sweet
there.
tea. I totally
Sweet tea. It
tell
doesn't
my
even
mom
have to be
that.
alcoholic, but they're just it comes with these bladders, and you have multiple bladders. Mine comes with three. So you
Hmm.
could do a water, a mimosa, a sweet tea, whatever.
Right.
I don't drink sweet tea, but anywho, yeah. I'm a big fan of the wine purse, and you can also put coolers in there, like little cooler packs to keep everything chilled.
Yeah, and the
So
bag itself, so it was in two sections because I just got mine. I haven't been able to use it yet, but it has the bladder on one side that you'll use to dispense the drink. And then
mhm.
it's actually a bag you can put your stuff in, like a good
Towel,
book,
sunblock.
your towels, because we definitely, you got to take something, or your speaker. I know, but if you're going to take a speaker to the beach, remember, not everybody around you listens to your music, so keep it
Yeah.
in
Be
your bubble.
respectful.
Yeah, for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
Um,
I've been at the beach with people playing really obnoxiously loud music that I did not enjoy at all.
right.
They did not seem to care two shits.
Yeah.
And they were, yeah. And I think bring your wine purse, but don't be sloppy. Because I think what happened with these people had a little too much to drink, and they weren't even considering anybody else around them. So I would
Right.
say, always,
Be considerate of those around you for sure. Yeah.
absolutely. That's just common.
Two
common
things that I like to take, whether I'm going to the beach, the lake, or just out by the pool in general, waterproof headphones. They actually have earbuds or the hook-on style that you can swim in. Now, I don't recommend swimming
Well,
in the
damn.
ocean with them because they still can pop out. You want to make sure if you're going to be swimming in the ocean, but I'm just thinking if you're sitting out there, you're chilling on a float, or you are right there at the edge of the water, waterproof headphones are awesome. Just to, you don't have to worry about them getting messy. They're made for that. And then a waterproof phone case. I loved this when I went snorkeling in Jamaica. I just
Yes.
submitted or put my phone in the case, locked it up and
Yep.
everything. I was able to record videos, take pictures all underwater, and my phone was a-okay. So
That
have
is
that.
cool.
Yeah.
They've come a long way in waterproof cases, though. I will say that.
Hmm.
So, the other thing I bring a lot of is little baggies, sealable baggies, not just for like I do put my phone in there so it doesn't get sand all in it and stuff.
Right.
Um, but for snacks, for if you have, I put some like napkins in one, and you definitely
Yeah.
want to have, yeah, it's just good to have. And when you're bringing your little baggies of like chips or apple slices, you just gotta bring them, but recycle them or throw them away.
Yeah.
Don't leave them on the beach. That's the thing. You can't leave them on the beach. You always
And
want to
it's a
be
good idea if you are bringing chips or you're bringing goldfish or whatever you're bringing, put it in a Ziploc style bag and take it out of its original if it doesn't have a zipper. Because if you're just bringing the box with the bag and you're just rolling it, or just the bag
you're
in
gonna
and of
get
itself,
sand all in
it's going to
there.
get sand in it. So it's nice to have your snacks and your foods in the Ziploc bag, even your dry foods. Take it from the original packaging and put it in a reusable.
Well, definitely agree with everything you're saying. And I'll go one step further. Seagulls can be really aggressive. So also don't
Right.
just have your food out and about laying around. When I was up in Cape May, this chick was just talking and holding a slice of pizza and talking to her friends. A seagull came right in and plucked her piece of pizza out, and off they went with it and had a heyday. And they were laughing. I mean, but you just got to be kind of careful when you're eating on the beach that the seagulls are watching, and they're hoping that you're going to leave something behind. But don't feed them. Don't feed the seagulls.
Yeah.
This is a big discussion topic. Some people are all about I feed the seagulls, and other people like don't feed the seagulls. But I will say, if you feed them, they're all going to flock all around you, and there's a good chance you're going to get pooped on.
Yeah.
And some people think that's lucky, but I, for one, am not a big fan of that. It's happened to me once in my life, and I almost vomited. It's so gross.
Oh.
It's so gross.
No,
And
I thankfully have not, knock on wood, had that happen, but
I did not feel lucky at all. I felt disgusted.
yeah.
And I went in the ocean and washed it off, but it was gross. It was ew.
Hmm.
It's all kinds of gross.
Well, when you're done with for the day, make sure you bring in some type of trash bag to pack up
True.
all your stuff. And remember, if you get as you're walking out, usually especially if you have used public beach parking, they usually have trash cans right there.
Yeah.
However, they get full because everybody's using them. So if you bring a trash bag and you see that trash is full, don't leave your bag there because the birds are going to get in it. It's going to get spread everywhere. Take it back to your hotel, take it back to your
Right.
Airbnb or your beach house and dump it there. Don't just leave the bag sitting beside the trash can because it's going to mess up your beach. Do better. Leave it cleaner than you found it.
Right. That is our motto. And it might not be your trash, even if you see trash, pick it up because it might not be your trash, but it's your world and your beach. So
Absolutely. Yes.
we want to have it around. We want to keep it as nice as we can for as long as we can, for as long as we're here.
Absolutely. But we hope you guys all enjoy info about the beaches. Maybe you found something great and want to check out. I at least found two of these I definitely want to check out. The one in Corpus Christi. And what was the first one you mentioned?
Siesta
Obviously,
Key
yes, that was the one. Siesta
in
Key.
Florida. I definitely want to go there too. And the Texas one does sound pretty cool. So
Right?
maybe
I
there are some little side trips that we need to be looking
absolutely.
into.
But if you're going to the beach this summer, have an amazing time. Let us know what your favorite gear is, what your favorite beach is.
Yeah, absolutely. And be safe and have sunblock. Always sunblock.
Absolutely.
We're going to end with a sunblock,
Yeah.
people.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.